American military university staff or anyone else who may see this. Greetings. My name is Ed Wasson. I am a master's degree student in the AMU course on international relations and global security, and this brief I'm about to present to you is the case overview I've made for South Korea's export-oriented industrialization, or EOI. This is for the summer 2025 International Political Economy course taught by Professor Andrew Miller. Slide number 1, the beginning. The Korean War from 1950 to 1953 wrecked the peninsula. At that time, South Korea was among the poorest countries in the world, dependent on foreign aid and with limited industrial capacity. By the early 1960s, under President Park Chung-hee, Seoul ceased the import substitution policies and shifted to a state-directed EOI strategy. The goal was to integrate into global markets by developing competitive manufacturing industries and using state power to guide investment and industrial policy. Quick side note, the war is technically still going on because they've only signed an armistice agreement. Strategy and implementation, slide number 1. Point 1, state-led industrial targeting. The South Korean government chose sectors such as textiles, shipbuilding, steel, automobiles, and later semiconductors for growth and development. It provided credit, tax incentives, and infrastructure support to these sectors. A nationalized banking sector prioritized capital to these industries, according to Wade, 1990. Point 2, protection and export push. Domestic industries received government protection early on, but only if they met export performance targets or goals, production and quality. This balanced approach protected firms from foreign competition while pushing them to be globally competitive, according to Evans, 1995. Strategy and implementation, slide number 2.3, brilliant investment in human capital. Large public spending on universal education created a literate, technically skilled workforce. This complemented industrial policy and increased productivity. Point number 4, integration into global markets. South Korea joined the General Agreement on Tariffs and Trade, or GATT, in 1967. This helped secure South Korea's access to global markets and aligned with U.S. Cold War geopolitical interests, according to Haggard, 1995. Next slide, the results. Between 1962 and 1996, South Korea's GDP grew at an average of 8% annually. It transitioned South Korea from an agrarian economy to a high-income, high-tech industrial power, becoming one of the Asian tigers. By 1996, it had joined the OECD, and on the United Nations Human Development Index, or UNHDI, South Korea now ranks among the world's highest, with strong performance in life expectancy, education, and income, demonstrating that economic growth was paired with social development, according to Oakley, 2008. Lessons from the case, slide 1. EOI can work when the state and market are complementary. South Korea's multifaceted approach challenged the laissez-faire model of the Washington Consensus. This helped them avoid the inefficiencies of prolonged import substitution, according to Gilpin, 2001. Discipline is key. Protection was conditional on export success or performance, thus preventing rent-seeking behavior common in other state-led models, according to Rapley, 2007. Lessons from the case, slide 2. Human development goes hand in hand with growth. Investments in health and education created a workforce capable of sustaining high-tech competitiveness, supporting Sin's development as freedom argument that capabilities matter as much as income, according to Sin, 1999. External alliances matter. U.S. security guarantees lessened defense spending for the South Korean government, and preferential access to American markets helped the great success of Southern Korean exports. Applicability to other countries. While the strategy was highly successful in South Korea, there are likely limited scenarios now where it might be replicated. Factors that help Seoul's success include unique historical and geopolitical context. Cold War alliances with the U.S. provided aid, technology transfer, and access to the world's largest and most stable markets. Domestic governance and capacity. A cohesive centralized state and culture or society helped quality and production. So this social cohesion is really important. The social cohesion and education, from a cultural perspective, there was emphasis on discipline and learning that facilitated rapid industrial upgrading. Other developing countries can adapt aspects like targeting key industries, human capital development, and performance-linked protection. However, without strong institutions, disciplined governance, and good foreign relations, results may be weaker. And don't forget that they grew and developed during the Cold War. UNHDI, economic freedom, and IPE in context. Today, South Korea ranks very high in the UNHDI with an HDI value above 0.9. Its economic freedom scores are generally high, reflecting upon open markets, strong property rights, and low barriers to trade, though its early EOI phase relied on selective protectionism. UNHDI, economic freedom, and IPE context, slide number 2. From an international political economy perspective, South Korea's EOI success supports a liberal view that integration into global trade can drive development. However, South Korea still has mercantilist features such as strategic state intervention and protection of its industries. Marxist or dependency theorists would note that Seoul avoided peripheral trap by upgrading into core industrial production rather than remaining a low-wage assembly base. Role of alliances. The U.S.-South Korea alliance was established in 1953, and the U.S. provided military protection, preferential economic treatment, and a stable investment climate. Asian regional partnerships, including participation in APEC, ASEAN Plus 3, and bilateral free trade agreements with Singapore, Vietnam, and others, have deepened trade integration. Global market institutions, including membership into the World Trade Organization and the OECD, and engagement with multilateral development banks, or MDBs, facilitate technology transfer and market access. These alliances reinforced economic stability, reduced foreign investor business risk, and provided mechanisms for negotiating favorable trade terms. These factors all contributed to the success of South Korea's EOI strategy. On a quick cultural note, I'd also like to point out that South Korea has embraced globalization and globalism on another perspective, and that's the entertainment perspective. Their K-pop, some of their hit songs such as APT by a singer named Rose, she made this duet with Bruno Mars. It's probably one of the bigger hip-hop hits of 2024. And they've also got a brand new, strong-looking series on Amazon Prime that's depicting Asian intelligence operatives working out of Seoul, Korea, called Butterfly. So this type of integration into the whole global system is pretty key factor as well, I believe. So in conclusion, South Korea's EOI model showed that state-guided engagement with global markets can transform a low-income agrarian country into a high-income industrial power within a few decades. Its trajectory shows that development is not just about GDP growth, but about aligning economic policy with human development goals, using external alliances, and maintaining focus and discipline. While not universally replicable, its principles of targeted state intervention, conditional protection, human capital investment, and strategic globalization offer valuable lessons for countries seeking to boost productivity and income. This final slide is my reference slide. Thank you and have a great day.